Did you know that the Talking Tom series has a story? Throughout its existence, this universe has gone from funny cartoon animals that copy whatever you say, to a rich world full of important events and tales that go further than you could ever expect. So join me today as we go over this insane story that has never been documented up to this point. Hi everybody, I'm here at a bar. This is the place where I see all the sad people in my town wander into, and I just wanted to check it out. And I can see why, like, they got free pretzels here, it's awesome. So Talking Tom and friends are quite the crew. You might recognize them for their ever iconic mobile games where they copy whatever you say, but trust me, the rabbit hole only gets deeper and deeper and deeper. The main location of Talking Tom's Land is known as Nowheresville. It's most likely located in some surrounding area of California based on the nearby desert, what's basically Silicon Valley, and a large quantity of in-universe celebrities that will casually appear. The biggest challenge of this content is that installments are very concise, very limited, very rarely showing connections between other series entries in a major manner, meaning that I'm gonna have to take a bunch of creative liberties, try to fit everything into a single continuity, and also assume that the release years of these things are also when they take place. The first time point lasts from 2010 to 2013, which I'm just gonna consider Season 0. Across this period, we got like 15 talking characters that were introduced, and as much as I would like to go into detail about Talking Bacteria John, in this one, this is just a dinosaur, at most only half of these guys matter, because these games aren't actually canon. None of these specific games are actually real. They're just apps the characters make in-universe based on themselves. And while the most well-known games all came out around this time, the most important thing to look at in this time frame is the animated shorts, specifically the Talking Friends series in 2012. In the desert of Nowheresville, the main cast all resides in a trailer park, and this is essentially going to introduce the 6 most important characters that we're going to see for the rest of this silly adventure. You got Tom, the main character of all time, your all-around lovable scoundrel of a main man, the bull in our fruit salad, just keeping everybody together in his own okayish way. Ginger, Tom's nephew, we never see his parents or anyone in the Tom and Ginger family tree. Outside of them, they don't matter, and I'm gonna be honest, Ginger just causes problems and nothing else. Angela is the token woman. You can tell because she has eyelashes, and Tom's a simp. She's also a famous singer, so that's cool. Pierre's the gamer of the group. He's also green. Gina, she's like this toy Ginger's stuffed animal. I'm gonna be honest, she's not actually alive in the animations. I don't know what her dealio is. And of course, Talking Ben. You know him, you love him, the funny phone call dog. Everybody likes it when he says yes, no, ho, ho, ho. Truly the best of us. Now, as you'll see, literally every single conflict of any capacity involves Tom, Angela, or Ben at the bare minimum. Every other character involved will kind of just watch in the back as literal life-ending scenarios play out, and this collection of shorts is the prime example, even if they all look disgusting, like Ginger specifically looks like he's wilting away. As mentioned from before, the games are created by the characters, most likely in this trailer park. The only exceptions to this are Tom and Ben news, because they're doing the actual news in the trailer park, along with the original Talking Tom and maybe Talking Angela, because those two happened when they were working part-time on a pier for some reason. Oh, and Gina's here, sure, she's probably alive. Yeah, okay. Anyway, all the episodes are about the same in story. Ben makes an invention, and then someone else makes stuff go horribly wrong just 10 straight times. And right after this, there's a mild time skip and a few continuity changes, so a lot of this doesn't matter anyway. Like, Tom and Angela are a thing for a while, but this is retconned in the future in Season 1, lasting from December of 2014 to March of 2016. Now we're at the meat of this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. This is the series Talking Tom and Friends. Literally everything we know in the past season has been changed off screen. The voices, the location, the characters. Yeah, I'm guessing at some point while Tom was moving into his own place, Ginger grew up a little more and stopped dragging around Gina everywhere. And then also Pierre was found gunned down and dead in the streets of LA, and then when questioned, the rest of the gang probably said stuff along the lines of,
"He was a gamer. I'm honestly shocked we weren't the ones who did it.
He didn't organize his recyclables, and he put M&Ms in my medication. I was hospitalized for a month."
Why do they call it chili when it's warm? That doesn't make any sense. They should call it something like warmy, but that sounds bad. Like, call it something like super stew or something. Honestly, there's so many issues with it. I can go on and on.
So that means our super cool team's down to 4, or at least it would be if it weren't for this new character Hank. Hank is Tom's new roommate. During Season 0, Hank was a French magician, and now he's just like a guy who exists in the background. Whenever there's conflicts where he's not the main subject, he's gonna be with Ginger in the background watching everyone else yell at each other. In Nowheresville, Tom rented a garage that the friends called the studio, and here Tom and Ben have gone from doing the news to an app company, and I'm gonna be honest, it's not really an app company if a Taser app requires you to add a taser to your phone. Ben, I love you. Tom, I tolerate you. That's not an app, that's a taser. Tom's about the same. Angela canonically fell off and is consistently making epic fails, but Ginger... he's awful. Here's a brief list of everyone who likes Ginger, and here's a picture of everyone who likes Ben. He's just this insufferable little shit who never faces any consequences. If there's anything, and I mean anything, that would ruin someone else's life, Ginger is there to goof Gunk up to smithereens. Now, typically when fighting children, it's more effective to aim for the softest parts of their skulls. Consider taking a knee when fighting. They might be too short to punch. That's how bad this 7-year-old is. It's making me openly give advice to fighting children. He sucks. I hate this orange cat. And despite being considered a loser kinda by everyone now, Ben's been making a bunch of inventions and revolutionary discoveries. A typical entry in this story will see Tom complaining about something in his life and or Angela not wanting to go to tier 15 with him. Ben makes something in response, it goes horribly wrong, and then Hank will just be watching and eating stale Cheerios off screen. In season 1, there's a lot of things that get introduced and happen, and you just gotta accept it. Is this an HOA violation? Probably. Is there a grape company instead of Apple? Yep. Is there a time loop that started in this show? Well, hold on right there. I think we should go into that. I'm assuming something happened off screen to prevent anyone from aging and time is stagnant, but there is a continuity and later episodes do take place after earlier ones, but nobody really grows as a person both physically and in character, so do with that what you will. But whatever. The pilot episode, episode 0, is not canon, but it's important in setting up what's to come. Basically, everyone introduces themselves. Tom brings up that he and Ben are working together in their own company. Tom tries to get the cameras to record their lives like The Office. He gives up. Santa shows up and gives Tom the best advice of his life, and he decides to record the next 100 wacky adventures as they go on. One major reveal that happens here is that 8.3 years before late 2014, so at some point in 2006, Tom and Ben were the first two characters to meet each other while they were frolicking in the suburbs. This will have lasting consequences. I don't want to freak anyone out, but everything so far has been a Sunday drive through a small town. The rest of this story is like going 100 miles per hour on a jammed freeway with a missing tire and shattered windshield. It's a mess, but damn it, if you look at it in the right way, it can be memorable. I'm only gonna go over the stuff that I think is important and or too funny to ignore. I went through the entire series, and I can say there's a difference between the lore and world building, because if we considered every single thing that happens and everything that ever happens lore, then school history books would stretch as long as your local Kroger dairy section. There's a lot of filler, no official time points, only important moments are going to be addressed. And now, from the top, 2015, still season 1, Tom and Ben are trying to make apps. They're mostly unsuccessful, and immediately Tom loses his voice, which is bad because they're going into a contest, and the winner of which will probably get a bunch of clout. Ben goofs up and they lose. Angela makes her grandma's soup, but was supposed to make her aunt's soup to make Tom feel better. This will come back later. After this, Tom Studios wants to update the Talking Ben app because everybody knows this needs an update. This results in a robot named Gilbert taking over and trying to hold everyone hostage, but guess what? It fails. You see what I mean? It's just, stuff happens. You gotta go with it. For the next few weeks, Tom and Ben fail time and time again to make financially successful apps, and as a result, they make this universe's Steve Jobs go through a friendship divorce. Ben gets exposed to a shit ton of radiation and overdoses on their bootleg Flappy Bird, so then they take a 6-month vacation where they do whatever they want. Such events that take place during this extended break with their company includes everyone going camping on the moon, resulting in Ben developing a stable relationship with the moon until the moon cheats on him. Ben becomes Big Ben while trying to become a comedian. He thinks that by gaining 400 pounds it makes him funnier. Hank becomes a millionaire and also almost overdoses, but this time on pickles. Lots of overdoses in the first 20 episodes. Wow. Hank gets a medical degree. Just for future reference, if anything outside of Ben's inventions or Tom's love life is the plot of the episode, it will most likely just revolve around Hank doing whatever he does. The two main things that we need to know for the first half of the season is that Tom and Angela aren't together yet. The entire season, Tom will try and sometimes almost succeed in ending up with that pussy. I guess that other kind too. Also, Jeremy the Germ. As much as I like the name Jeremy, I tolerate this Jeremy. Just like Hank and like half the cast, and this guy is voiced by Tom Kenny, and the first of many villains that exist in this series. There's a lot of them, some of them hardly do anything, but Jeremy is a very special germ. In this season, he tries to infect the entire crew and succeeds. Ben then shoves him into a sewer. Unfortunately, in 2016, aka the second half of the season, Jeremy returns about a year later, even though, again, there's no time or whatever, and here he creates a sickness apocalypse, and Angela, learning her aunt's soup recipe, I told you that was gonna come back, retaliates by bombing the local diner in soup. And spoilers, off-screen, Jeremy is left in a jail cell in an unconfirmed location. This will be important later. New character time! It's the landlord. The landlord is the owner of Tom's garage house and is considered another villain. He temporarily evicts Tom and Hank to take care of the volcano that the building was built on top of. You just gotta accept it. He also barges in on Free Milkshake Day to brag about having 750k followers on this app called FastPick. Out of spite, Tom gets 1 million followers in that same afternoon, where it's revealed instead of a golden play button or something, readers get sent to an alternate dimension where they have to fast pick forever. Oh, dearie dear. But then Tom and Angela work together and post cringe and ruin Free Milkshake Day for everyone. This is never brought up again, and nothing is done about it. The internet in this universe is considered another part of the world. You know, it is what it is. But you may be wondering, is Talking Tom still not getting hosed? To answer that, we need to talk about parallel universes. Surprise, surprise! A silly, moderately popular, yet kind of niche series with a surprisingly friendly fan base with only 1 or 2 people that'll send me death threats over their respective videos has multiversal interactions. I hope you put that on the Choopo bingo card, because I sure did. In this universe, Tom, Ben, and Angela and Hank swap personalities. That's the only change that I could register. And Tom Prime almost stays here because he's loved. Aw, that's so sweet. Nah, I'm just kidding. Everyone commits a universe heist. To rub salt in the wound, Ben then ends up with a human character named Xenon that he meets at the Not Apple store. And for a good portion of the series, she's just a character that exists. And another fun thing to add here, there are no animals that can talk unless they are main characters. And this I'm interested in because old videos did actually show that this was originally an animal-only universe, but just throw that into the pile of things that we could complain about. There's already a lot. Before the finale happens, I'm gonna tell you about this guy Carl, also known as the CEO. Sometimes he just goes by CEO. This is the wealthiest character of Nowheresville, and following a helicopter crash, Tom and Ben are kinda dickish to him, and this leads to him becoming another powerful enemy by trying to befriend them and destroy their company from the inside. Now in the finale, it's Angela's birthday. Ben and Angela spend 4 straight hours stress eating ice cream and waiting for everyone else to get a cake, but they go to a desert instead of get dessert and take the world's largest candy bar from an abandoned building. In the most Disney Channel original movie way possible, Angela says she likes the other cartoon cat. Everyone else returns and Ben fails to snitch as he overdoses on ice cream, and then Angela does too. This is like the 4th blackout of this season. In the second part, Angela and Ben mutually agree unveiling Angela's secret would be harmful to them both, and Ben decides he's gonna erase that memory by making a new machine. Carl decides after all these apps failed that Talking Tom is worth making a deal over. Talking Tom agrees to collaborating about Talking Tom and are gonna have a conference later that day. Meanwhile, Ginger becomes a victim of misinformation on the internet. Remember Ginger? Well, that's what he's been up to. And then, in the finale, Ben commits plagiarism and finishes the memory wiping thing. It causes wacky hijinks. Hank was supposed to get Ben for the conference, but he forgot to because of the memory wiping thing. Tom goes to get them, but because Ben spilled his hot and kind of mid nachos, there's a misunderstanding, and Tom almost ruins the entire company out of pettiness. But during this confrontation, Tom and Angela finally admit their feelings for each other, and now we can finally move away from this kind of dumb arc. God damn it, Hank! 2017 to 2018, Season 2. The first major arc of this season sees Tom and Angela deciding if they want to go further in a relationship, when at first getting back their memories, then trying to friend zone, then failing, then breaking up, then getting back together. In Season 1, their dynamic was like this, and for the rest of the season, it's gonna look more like this. It's incredible how little changes from such a big change. You just need to remember that if anything, and I mean anything substantially good or bad happens to them, give them like 3 episodes and I promise you the opposite will happen. Next, there's Election Arc. Election Arc is kind of whatever. We meet Carl's nephew Darren, who's just a rich asshole and temporarily replaces Ginger, and almost nothing changes. Later in the season, he becomes an intern, but then he gets kicked out after the CEO's goldfish's mind gets erased. That is the first ever time that sentence has been uttered. Carl buys one of Angela's songs and announces he's running for mayor. Ah, phooey. He also pushes his evil plan forward and confirms this with us by looking straight at the camera and announcing, "I'm going to destroy Talking Tom." In retaliation, Tom wins the election and becomes mayor, hooray! But after a couple days, he just kinda stops doing anything as the mayor, like literally nothing changes. Tom leaves the town on autopilot for the rest of his term. He only became the mayor to save his company, but again, there's no changes in the narrative or anything going on. Now from this point on until the finale, there's honestly not that much that happens worth noting, other than two kind of random new things get established. The first sees Hank's favorite TV show get almost canceled, where it's revealed cartoons are alternate dimensions, and Hank's favorite characters, who I forgot the names of, sorry, I've been watching Talking Tom and Friends for a while, but these cartoons have been watching Talking Tom from their own world, and just like again, it's so little of a revelation, it's incredible. And another thing I want to throw out is that there's a living wig that's like this alien parasite that makes anyone who wears it kind of a dick. Angela uses it for what is basically American Idol, because she's still trying to elevate her music career and impress this one famous guy, Ricky DeLuna. Remember him, he's gonna be important in about 20 seconds. Angela has this Lord of the Rings-ass moment and fights her evil self and opts to keep the wig in her apartment in some chests for some unholy reason, but that's alright, we got another finale. Long story short, Tom invades his girlfriend's privacy, finding out that she's collaborating with this celebrity Ricky. Remember him? I talked about him 20 seconds ago. I sure remember him. And then tragically, she skedaddles, which is in fact a finale. 2018, Season 3, holy shit. Ricky DeLuna is a furry. He's trying to steal Angela from Tom. Like, this is actually a big deal for some reason. Damn, things are getting kind of intense. Is this the end of the love life of these cartoon cats that we all know and love? No, it's not. He fails and joins the ever-increasing Talking Tom Rogues gallery. The remainder of Season 3 is probably what I would describe as the most average season, almost like all of the next episodes are secluded stories that have so little that actually gets brought back. Like, Tom has a doppelganger, has a parallel universe version of him stuck in the Stone Age, is the mayor, but the thing that we keep addressing and see come back is the fact that he's a scoutmaster. And with every other episode, it just becomes a formula of one character wants or does something, everyone else tries to help them or face the consequences or whatever that the character does. Some crazy stuff happens, straight back to the norm right after that. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. I put on this voice sometimes. It hurts my throat. I gotta hold on. Hey, bartender guy, could I get a drink? Specifically some dragon fruit punch flavored gamer subs? Thank you. Now, to be frank, I've joked about watching every episode of relatively well-known CGI children's cartoons with several seasons in the past, but like, I actually watched every episode of this show out of curiosity, and to be fair, I pulled an all-nighter watching this season specifically. I've probably forgot some important things, and that's my bad. But anyway, holy cannoli, the finale is frickin' bananas. Tom and Ben are playing not Minecraft, and because of Ginger being an iPad kid, he's significantly more advanced in the world of not Minecraft. Ben then seeks out the greatest player of the game that they can find, that being this one kid who's part of Tom's Boy Scout kids because he's a Scoutmaster. I can't believe this keeps getting brought back. He offers the duo a cheat code and warns them not to mess with the code at all, or else they will. They mess with the code, and all the game's enemies known as spawners spawn 1,000 times more often, destroying all the not Minecraft player builds. So then everyone goes to Hank's base because it's a hill, and yeah, they only destroy the player builds. They build a rocket and send all the enemies to space, which is coded in this game for some reason, but then when they do, the rocket ship escapes not Minecraft and begins to travel all across the digital world. Oh no! Meanwhile, Angela is making a song. It's genuinely ass and everyone hates it. She responds by ignoring everyone's distaste and goes to a musical festival. So after, Ben gets Xenon to help him out with computer problems where they start to realize something's up. And wouldn't you know it? Something's up, and Minecraft is real. From this point on, Talking Tom and Talking Ben have successfully began the apocalypse. If anything gets shot by the zappers, it becomes blocky, and if anything alive does, they die. This isn't a bit, they just lay on the ground as cubes, so clearly this is a bad thing, and everyone's in danger. And Angela's music thingy, it goes badly, it sucks, everyone hates it, the zapper thingies show up and they skedaddle towards Carl's tower, which is actually where Tom and Ben are at that point. And there, Tom and Ben are trying to make an invention to stop the invasion, but because Carl's kind of a dick, he ruins everything and gets cubed on screen. And as they're getting swarmed, a bunch of crazy stuff happens. Angela's music seems to distract a few of them, but unfortunately, Unfortunately, while saving Tom and Ben, Hank and Ginger get cubed on screen, killing them off from the Not Minecraft saga, but their deaths weren't in vain. See, they gave the survivors enough time to jump into Carl's giant toilet, and giant toilets lead to regular sewers, and regular sewers happen to have germs in them. And you know who's a germ? Frickin' Jeremy, that's right! After years in sewer jail, Ben frees him in exchange for allowing him to live in the garage permanently. Ben accepts and the trio goes back to the garage to infect it with Jeremy's infections. And after Tom and Ben get temporarily cubed, Jeremy successfully infects the Zappers and saves the world. Hooray, what a happy day. Everyone goes back to the garage and celebrates going back to normal with more Jeremy than usual. Then the door gets a knocking and Ben opens it to see Xenon, and here it's revealed she's working at this place called the Agency and is actually evil and apprehends Ben as he's finally considered an international threat and he's gotta go. And holy moly, Angela is missing. She's in the void. Literally nobody knows where she's at. And that brings us directly to 2019 to 2020 season 4. Off screen, even though Ben, as lovable and iconic as he is, has proven more than enough, he's too dangerous to be kept alive. Ben's been given a special version of house arrest where he's not house arrested, he's just not allowed to use moderately advanced technology of any capacity. If he touches a toaster, the police will show up. Also, everyone starts wearing clothes. For some reason, the entire gang mutually agrees that they've been nude for long enough, but who cares about pants? Woman Cat is missing. They decide to break Ben's arrest rules to save Angela, only to immediately cause Xenon to chase them down, because like, that's the rule. Don't do the thing, and they do the thing, and then they face the consequences. So then, the fellas get caught after a big chase through downtown on top of trucks and stuff, and this was finally the moment where I was like, okay, why is Ginger always here? He's 7. Where are your parents? How come your closest friends are all in their early 20s? And why are you helping to find your uncle's girlfriend in the middle of a weeknight? Eventually, Xenon catches them and gives Ben this shock wristband that literally prevents him from making contact with electric devices of any capacity. I don't know why it wasn't on him to begin with, but he has it now. Then they use this to follow Xenon to the main lair, and even though she works for a secret and vague Shadow League about 1 episode ago and she was evil, it's revealed that she's not actually an evil legal and is actually their friendly fritter. Tom, Hank, and Ginger go into the digital world, and Ben has to stay behind because of the zappy wrist. If he touches it, he will probably... Dead dog. Here they find that Angela has Stockholm Syndrome and has become their queen. The Zappers are praising her bad song, and now she's refusing to go home, but actually she's being brainwashed, oh heavens me! But through some weird acrobat bullshit, they free Angela from the possession gunk or whatever with the power of friendship, and again that weird acrobat bullshit. They go back and Xenon goes into hiding because now she's debatably the most wanted person in America for helping a fellow felon that's not supposed to touch electric things, and it touches electric things. Back at home, the gang remembers that they live with Jeremy, and to be fair, he does get a redemption arc and basically becomes another Hank, but cleans up more. As the season continues, he becomes a friendlier pal over time. There's a weird bump where his brother almost ruins all the progress of him becoming a functioning member of society, but wouldn't you know it, the power of friendship is here once again to knock it off. Through this season, basically none of the new stuff introduced will come back in any capacity. I think Gina cameos in this season as a cereal mascot. It might have been a different one, so I'm just gonna assume she's like a celebrity in universe, but then I'm a bit conflicted since when Ginger was carrying around a toy Gina, that's basically the same as like seeing a toddler carry around a stuffed Howie Mandel everywhere. Otherwise, Tom finally ends his term as mayor and is regarded as one of the worst of Nowheresville. Ricky DeLuna returns when the gang go on some fake pyramid adventure, and this results in Ricky getting arrested and permanently removed from the franchise. On 2 separate occasions, Hank's TV pals come to help Hank out with his life crises. Hank becomes a detective for a bit. Hank replaces Carl as CEO, only to give the job to Carl's goldfish. They really just let Hank do whatever he wants. Near the end of the season, after saving Tom from being lost in space, Ben regains his ability to use technology and immediately creates a weather machine and tries to make it never rain again. He was on a watch list before. Why the frick frack snick snack would they take him off? And there is a new character I think is worth talking about, that being the first new animal in like half a decade, named Becca. And Becca is a jerk. Her introduction is an Angela-flavored diss track. There's a lot of cyberbullying, and it turns out all of this happened because of a misunderstanding and Angela being a good person. And in the end, they become pals and also roommates. So she's officially a permanent new friend, but only sometimes. The only thing I'm pretty sure is worth noting here is that she fumbles Hank. Like, that's the realest part of the show, if I'm being honest. The finale's kind of weird and doesn't do anything. In the second to last episode, the crew's being held hostage, and Hank's TV pals figure out a robot from the first season was the culprit. You remember Gilbert? That guy right there. And then out of nowhere, Xenon returns, and here she gets Angela, and only Angela, to come with her on a quest to another universe because the agency Xenon used to work at is morally indifferent, and they're turning off gravity for literally no goddamn reason. I don't understand anymore. I'm so tired of the children's shows just not having motives. Explain why they want gravity gone. Explain why they want Ben gone. I've had enough! Apparently, the agency has the same passwords regardless of the universe, so the duo goes to an evil dimension where the agency and capitalism, I guess, swap places, so the same old thing happens. Goofy antics, Angela questions her morals and love life, they do the thing and save gravity. And that is how it ends for the agency. That's right, the agency will not return. Xenon will not return. Hell, Jeremy becomes a background character from this point on. I told you, Season 4 is nothing. Now, normally, I would be pretty bummed out if a bunch of stuff in a major semi-overarching story just kind of stopped mattering out of nowhere, but actually, no. I'm a really big fan of Season 5 from 2020 to 2021 just because it's the best accumulation of everything we've seen so far, forced together and put on crack. Guys, literally all possibilities get on the table for this feast of nonsense, and oh my, it's glorious. First of all, new animal friend, Roy. Roy is a very special character because he's literally perfect in all regards. Everyone loves him, except Tom. We find out that once again, Tom Kenny gets to voice a stupidly compelling character, objectively the best villain in the series, because his entire endgame is replacing Tom fully. There is no other evil intent, he's here for the sole purpose of goofing Tom's Gunk the flippity frack up. And just like everything else, he's only doing it because he can. We watch in the first episode as he succeeds, only making Tom, the former mayor of Nowheresville, look kind of like an ass. And until the finale, Roy will only show up a couple more times and is only there to purely spite Tom. He does nothing else, and every time, it's successful. Now, the rest of the season, in contrast, is the most insane it gets, and at this point, I was just watching to see how they could top the last thing. One of the episodes reveals Angela just had a ghost living in her apartment the entire time, and nobody knew about it, did not care. Hank and Becca go on a date until they provoke the pasta mafia. I've seen weirder. The parasite hair from Season 2 returns and nearly kills the entire gang, but they stop because of roller coasters. Unfazed. Ginger gets cooties, becomes a knight, and ends up a genius. He's become a lot more tolerable, but still, I was so asleep during all of this, it could have just been a coma. And when Angela turns into and accepts her new life as a soccer ball, now wait a goddamn second. This is by far my favorite episode of the series. It's wonderful. They play the entire episode completely straight. It's so unfathomably perfect, and it has no right to be. They treat the transformation like they caught a tragedy on tape. Tom tries to help Angela continue her life as a ball. He fails, admits that he mentally cannot handle his girlfriend being a soccer ball, and then a sad montage starts playing, only to cut back to Angela Ball just to bounce away. So stupid. But don't worry, through the power of love and a 3-on-3 indoor soccer game, for some reason, everything is back to normal until it isn't. Because like 4 episodes later, Season 5 finale time! Roy's back and he's a real stinky salamander if I do say so myself. Everybody hates Tom, the crew's about to get evicted, and are banking on Ben's invention. They gave up on apps a while ago, but let's be honest, does it matter? No, it doesn't. And it works out. Until it doesn't, the inventions are stealing valuables from their owners. Through Roy being a sneaky little scamp, he makes everyone think Tom's the culprit, and this is worth kicking them out of their friend group after 100+ episodes, and Tom loses literally everything he's accumulated in his life. No second thought, Ginger is getting a new uncle, specifically a Roy-shaped uncle, and oh my god, Roy has done it. He has fully replaced Tom, and everyone loves him, especially Angela. Ooh, this baby show's getting a little spicy. At his lowest point ever, Tom gets abducted after eating some garbage. Then they pull a reverse Avengers. Tom and a good amount of the villains from the series, including Darren, Ginger's teacher, the landlord, the 2 scientists that filled Ben with radiation in Season 1, and this one lady. I don't think she did anything important. Yeah. They're all struggling to be bad because Roy is such a good dude. Through a block party heist, Tom works with his new friends to reveal that Roy's been stealing valuables as a side hustle. So in retaliation, Roy tries to kill everyone with a backup plan where his mansion falls apart as he's escaping, but miraculously nobody's hurt. And then, right after, Roy gets away, but it's okay, everyone's safe, everyone can just go back to normal and everyone can keep talking. But, huh? What? Wait, huh? No! Roy's house collapsing caused the garage to fall apart. Ah shit, Tom, Hank, and Jeremy are officially homeless, and all their stuff is gone in this wild cliffhanger, and let me tell you, things only go up from here. The story took so long to get intense, but here we are, starting at Season 6, Episode 1, we get to watch Talking Tom better than you could ever imagine. Season 6 never came out, the show got canceled. I watched 156 11-minute episodes of Talking Tom and Friends, only for there to be a cliffhanger right after the most important location gets destroyed and the best villain gets away. I initially thought, when coming into this series, it was gonna be whatever, not really something memorable, just like some 5 out of 10 Nickelodeon cartoon that would play during school hours on weekdays, but no, there was something here, and it was better than I anticipated. Looking at views alone, I'd be genuinely shocked if we see a proper continuation of this series, and I think in terms of demand, there's not even enough to warrant one more episode where they fix their studio, so I'm gonna try to put a happy ending on this still. In universe, all the talking games were created by the friends, and they're being made still, so, you know, just put 2 and 2 together, shabingly, shaboomly, and we got a happier conclusion only. And from there, I did actually go further to find the cesspool that is the rest of the Talking Tom empire. There are 17 separate YouTube channels, of which 16 of them have more subscribers than I do. Luckily, I was able to beat Italy, and really that's the only one that matters. Otherwise, the rest of the franchise is kinda gross, to be honest. One of the channels, specifically Talking Tom Heroes, is filled with 2D shorts of like superheroes and whatever. There's 3D shorts where they all look like bobbleheads. In fact, recent games look like this for some reason, and I really did try. It's none of it's canon. I don't care, and neither should you. At most, parallel universe, okay? That makes sense. I'm not budging on this one. I will say, however, the main show did have some shorts, vlogs, and a bunch of extra stuff between episodes, and I will count those as canon, and then I will ignore them again because nothing of importance happens between them. It is purely more fodder, meant for the Talking Tomers and the frienders, and at most, there's a good chance that might be it. There's still stuff coming out, of course, but it's definitely gone down the path of appealing to your local daycare of kids who watch Spider-Man Grimace Shake videos and freaked out at that one scene in Paw Patrol where he's like jumping over the bridge. To be honest, this does kind of go hard, actually. In fact, out of everything besides like the original games, this main show is probably the only thing I would say was worth it. It's basically Elsa Gate Jimmy Neutron, which is probably why I liked it. It works sometimes. I was actually upset finding out that the series ended on a cliffhanger. It's hilarious how many things could be added on. Show us Tom and Ginger's family tree. Make Angela good at music. Show us Xenon's parents, because who the hell would name their kid after an element? Have Becca do stuff. Have Jeremy do stuff. Bring back one of your 50 quadzillion villains. Figure out how and why Pierre was gunned down in the streets of LA. Give Ben something to do. For the entire series, he's been living with his mom. How do you simultaneously have all these characters and yet so little at the same time? Hell, I would make and write another season, but I'm not being paid, so I'm not gonna. And if there's any diehard fans who are ready to burn me at stake for saying something about Talking Tom, or neglecting it, or just having my stance on this, or forgetting something like Talking Tom Kart, or the fact that Hank made a sandwich that crashed the stock market, I lied about that, but that's probably true. If you want to argue with the story that I mashed together, I don't have time to argue with you, Talking Tom fans, because I'll be too busy playing outside, eating vegetables, and with your mother. So that's gonna do it, fellas. It's been a pleasure. If you're new or haven't been here in a while, there's plenty more of these ramblings and videos available right now. Here's a statistic. It's supposed to be the opposite of this, so, you know, if you could press that button, maybe a bell, maybe a thumb that goes up, yeah, that would be awesome sauce. Along with that, I also want to announce that I'm going to be partnering with Gamer Subs. I liked it. It's full of vitamins. It helped me out during this research. They're giving me free stuff, so I'm obligated to tell you to check them out. Yeah, I want to see how you guys like it. And they actually are giving free samples out and some pretty big discounts as long as you use the code Choopo. They said I could get a free cup and maybe some more pretzels if you guys use my code. So, yeah. I'm all out of pretzels. I could really use them. I'm holding the Pop Tropica video hostage until I get that free cup. It's finished. I have the Pop Tropica video ready to go, fully done. But You gotta buy the funny sups. This may or may not be a bit. A wink wink, a reverse reverse. Yeah. Oh, wait a second! I got a bingo!